Evidence before court failed to link Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast with violence in Southeast. Lawyer condemns ruling. Barrister Aloy Ejimako, the special counsel to the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has insisted that he disagrees with the judgment delivered by the justice. Of course, a lot of us disagree with his judgment. We all disagree with his judgment. Delivered by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, which linked Kanu's broadcast to the violence in the Southeast region. Ejimako insisted that the prosecution failed to establish a direct link between Kanu's broadcast and the spate of deadly attacks recorded in Southeast in recent years. Speaking on Channels Television's Morning Brief program, Ejimako said the ruling was very unfortunate and highly regrettable, particularly given the human toll of the region's insecurity. It's very unfortunate and highly regrettable, and I feel very sad that a lot of innocent lives, the lives of security officers and so on, were lost in the Southeast, he said. But the evidence laid before the court failed to make a clear connection between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast and the act of violence or the so-called act of terrorism that occurred in the Southeast that led to the loss of lives. Ejimako noted that acknowledging the death should not be misconstrued as downplaying the tragedy. He added, it is not insensitive to say that anybody who really would not be touched by the lives lost in the Southeast or in any other part of Nigeria due to insecurity will be very insensitive. However, he stressed that criminal liability must rest on clear, established evidence. But by God Almighty, before we crucify a man or we convict a man for that, we have to draw a clear parallel, a clear connection between what Nnamdi Kanu said and the loss of lives, he said. Citing an adage to illustrate his argument, Ejimako said there is an adage which says that if a witch cries at night and a baby cries in the morning, it does not mean that it is the witch who cried the baby. That proverb, that in Yoruba they will say, Ajekilano, Omokulini, Tani Omopajano Lopomoje, they will say, the child, the witch cried yesterday and the baby cried today. They will say, who does not know that it is the witch that cried yesterday that cried the child today? But you know that in law, they don't believe in all of those things. They don't believe in jazz or whatever. So really, he's saying it for real that which doesn't mean that it by the baby. What if it's something else that by the baby? So why are you saying that it is Nnamdi Kanu that caused the death of these people just because he said it on his video? Why? The lawyer firmly rejected the court's decision, saying, I disagree with the conviction, I disagree with the verdict and the sentence. Whatever I'm saying here is a demonstration of my disagreement, but the judge might have found that he had sufficient evidence to back up the judgment he rendered. But myself, as Aloy Ejimako, personally did not see that clear connection between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast and the violence that occurred in the Southeast and claimed a lot of lives. Kanu had been held in the Department of State Services DSS detention since June 2021 after being returned to Nigeria under controversial circumstances. He faced charges bordering on terrorism, incitement, and operating an unlawful organization. The Nigerian authorities have repeatedly accused his broadcasts and directives of fueling violent attacks, including assault on security formations and the enforcement of sit-at-home orders in the Southeast. The region has suffered hundreds of deaths, targeted mines, and destruction of public infrastructure attributed to armed groups, some of whom the government links to IPOB, a claim the organization denies. On Thursday, November 20, 2025, Justice Omotosho convicted Kanu of 7 terrorism-related counts and sentenced him to life imprisonment, leading to the IPOB leader being moved from Abuja to Sokoto prison. Ejimako previously served as Kanu's special counsel before becoming a legal consultant to IPOB leader, has consistently argued that the Nigerian government's case relies on assumption rather than direct evidence. The latest conviction has revived debate over the legal threshold required to tie political speech to violent acts, as well as concerns over due process and the broader implication for security and civil liberty in Nigeria. Well, as Shamsi said, see the distance between book intelligence and native intelligence is east and west. What's this one saying? Mudani says, yeah, were you not in the court during the time for defense? Well, you know that Nnamdi Kanu stops them from defending him. And Nnamdi Kanu began to defend himself. Probably if I think that was where Nnamdi Kanu got it wrong. Everybody is really blaming him for that. Probably if he had allowed his lawyers to actually do their job, maybe it wouldn't have gotten this bad. But because he stopped them, saying, they could not confront, they could not say some things and all of that, probably his lawyers would have defended him in this manner. It is where they go to Court of Appeal. SBO Global says some people didn't know why MNK was angry inside the courtroom. It was as a result of the judge delaying him to go for the law examination he has in Usman Danfodio, Sokoto. They are very funny. It is at Abias Simeon says currently he is studying law at Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. He will also be taking some elective courses in Sharia law. After graduation, he will return and teach Justice Omotosho law. I don't understand. Larry says he's not a lawyer but a content creator. Kende says this is one of the reasons why MNK won the case on Facebook but lost it in the courts. Ola Stephen says the most important thing is that he's enjoying himself in Sokoto. How is he enjoying himself in Sokoto? Who enjoys himself in prison? Are you people jokers? My greetings to him and his new roommate. He says today's weather forecast in Sokoto is 71 degree Fahrenheit degree. So 71 degree Fahrenheit. Okay now. I'm sure he will get used to it. That guy Asma says he's a content creator who understands the gullibility of his followers. He's the one that told his client there is no law, which makes him keep asking Omotosho, where is the law? Show me the law. People are very sick. Ndubisi says, this is why sometimes I shake my head just to make sure my brain is still inside, because anything is possible in this country. Fabian says, go and tell that to the judges at the appeal court. They are waiting to hear. Okay. At Temutaro says, see Temu lawyer where they protest for streets when he supposed they court defending client. At Ayobami says, did you open this defense? They did not actually. They did not. So it is well. At Kazim says, I think Shawara is a lawyer. Let him represent Nnamdi Kanu so that we can achieve victory. Nikolawa Raphael says, you should argue this in court instead of a no case submission. Joseph Ogidiodu says, there is not any evidence in the East. All are well for the past 12 years. All is well for the past 12 years. Mona says the judge has spoken well. They will appeal it, so hopefully they will get it right this time around. My listeners, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.